Ladies and gentlemen, cari signore, signori, gentili ospiti, è per me un onore e un grande piacere dare il benvenuto a Sua Eccellenza Caterina Fiumani, ambasciatrice d'Italia a Bratislava, alla Facoltà di Architettura e Design della Università Slovacca di Tecnologia di Bratislava. Vorrei anche dare il benvenuto alla direttrice dell'Istituto Italiano di Cultura di Bratislava, dottoressa Alessandra Saniti. Benvenuti anche altri cari amici, ospiti, colleghi. So I will switch in English. We have met here today on the presentation of the work of young Italian architects from Florence, Francesco Polci, Antonio Salvi, and Paola Chiriatti. They are working together under the brand OPPS Architects. In Slovakia, the OPPS studio became visible by winning an international architectural competition launched by the city of Bratislava for the restoration of the Grossling spa. I hope that the lecture will be very interesting for you, and that work and the story of the young architectural studio will be a motivation and also inspiration for our students. So I wish everyone a nice experience, and I would like to ask Her Excellency, the Ambassador, to say a few words. Thank you very much.
Buongiorno, good morning. So I'm very grateful to be here this morning, and thank you, Madam Vice Dean, for your kind introduction and your perfect Italian. This was really wonderful, and I'm very glad to be here. And I want also to greet Professor Susanna Ulcianska, the director of the Italian Culture Institute, my colleague Alessandra Sanniti, who together with the embassy has organized this event. So I will be very brief because I think you want to hear about the architects and about their wonderful work. Just, to explain the Italian Design Day. So that's a campaign which is in its 7th edition, and every year all the embassies and the cultural institutes around the world, they organize activities to promote the design, Italian design, because it's one of the trademarks of Italy is design, because it's connected with our tradition, with our artistic and cultural tradition. And it is, how can I say, you can recognize it by its beauty, but also by its modernity and by its practicality, I would say, because design is not only to be seen, but it's to be enjoyed, to be used every day. So if you enter an Italian kitchen, for instance, you will have at least, I would say, all of us, we have 4 or 5 icons of Italian design in our kitchen, because they have been their everyday objects, like the coffee pot or something else, the vase or the sugar pot. They have been designed by important Italian designers. So today we are going to hear from OPPS. They are young architects, but very experienced already, and so experienced that they were, let's say, bold to participate into international competition here in Bratislava and to be the winner. So they are renovating together with the colleagues here in Bratislava the Grossling bath, and to bring it back to its original function as a center of aggregation for the city, and there will be also a library, and we are very proud as Italians to be able to contribute to the restoration of one of the most important historical landmarks here in Bratislava, your beautiful capital. So thank you very much for being here, and I hope you will enjoy this lecture, and thanks again to the colleagues, architects from Italy, for having accepted our invitation.
It's the same. No, doesn't work. Si sta. No, non sta provando. Not okay? Yeah, it's okay for this. So, good morning, everybody. I am Francesco Polci, a co-founder of OPPS Architettura. Next to me, on the left, there are Paola Chiriatti and Antonio Salvi. And first of all, we would like to thank the Italian Embassy for the organization and also the hospitality, the university for this invitation, and at the same time to you students that support us in this our first European presentation. This one part, okay. OPPS Architettura was born in February 2015, originated from young Tuscan architect. In 2021, after the Grossling competition, me and Antonio decided to formalize associated firm. Since the early years, the design team, the principal design team, was completed with Paola. The works, our works carried out included architectural competition, private commission, private project, and public collaboration, with the intention to combine the research and the contingency. Let us analyze for a moment Piero della Francesca in the legend of the real cross. Definitely, we can speak about a community life and built landscape, right? And at the same time, we are interested in architecture as a formal translation of the site. Because architecture is always a dualism between presence and absence. Emergency that we have to turn into opportunities on occasion. Our project approach is due to an extension of Genius Loci horizons, and the environment understood as a composition of culture, social dynamics, city, and landscape. So at this point, what we have to do? We have to choose what the site has most precious, like a tree, or a build, or a simple story. So this analysis must distilling from that element, that important element, what is not important, is not precious. Another theme dear to us is the interior space we are going to experience. In our opinion, it's not easy to respond through a single perspective to needs that often are hidden from the future inhabitants or clients. I am speaking about the relationship with the family, client, but also the relationship with craftsmen, because who are involved in the realization, in the project design, also not only with the directives, but also with dialogues, a real relationship with, in order to research the best realization. So we can say that they are an important element of an orchestra that made practice the means learning. So at this point, what is needed? Is needed a slow approach to the renovated domestic landscape. Because we have to taking time to establish a new relationship between people, so family, every type of client, and the thing that live in the future space. For us, there are very important elements as light and shadow inside our project, because light and shadow become decoration and can change the perception of the space during every hour, every day, of every month during the year. Light and shadow for us are raw material of the composition. A main topic elements for our office is threshold, so the doorway, because for us we think that threshold is an epiphany of the space, an incipit of every discovery within our home or our space, like university or other public space. So the entrance or the atrium become a place of access with door or passage with staircase, but at the same time become a place where we can live, we can stay, study, talk, and play inside it. The new identity of a new project, a new space, is balanced in a simple gesture such as put our key once you have passed the threshold, the doorway. This element is now a pocket empire where object and thought can put away. In order to research, how can I say, a new domesticity in the beauty of an everyday action. So, in our opinion, the objects are not simply for furnishing or ornaments. Instead, a pocket empire greets you when you come back home. A candle holder keeps in company while reading a book, or an ornament, like a jewel, reminds you the person who gave it to you. So these experiences are very important to make the space more daily. So why Adagio? Adagio, inside our office, is a way of designing. It's an attitude and also an advice to study, analyze small things, little things. At the same time, Adagio is a guide for a calm perception of the space. Also, it's a movement and a construction of a path. Our exhibition focuses on the practice works through a selection of projects that show our common multi-scale process, with the same care for every occasion or every emergency. Now I can let the microphone to Antonio that will tell you about some selected projects with more detail. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, good morning once again. We are all quite nervous, you know, because for us, we are glad to be here, and for us it's not actually unbelievable, but we were exactly in place of you just few years ago. So it's an achievement, we can say, that actually we never think it could be happen and real in few years. So our approach, we think a lot about this lecture, and in the end it was not so easy to prepare it, and the question was, if I imagine me as a student, all of us actually, what kind of lesson we can give to you in so few years of profession, you know? Francesco made this introduction which should communicate our approach to architecture, which is not so easy because approaching architecture is not something that you manage and you get it. You are still working on it, I think, till you will shut and give up the work and maybe buy, I don't know, a little house in the countryside. So you will learn it all your work life, all along. But what is now? What can we show to you? Of course, I will show you 3 works, which is opere, and 3 competition that we call disegni. We have chosen that because of the scale, trying to show something that could be in a kind of colors classification SLM scale, SML, and without the importance of OMA project, of course. But anyway, the aim is show the approach in different sides of project. Let's see. So the first one is Officina 21, which is a little perfumery in Arezzo, a city nearby Florence, from which actually Francesco comes from, exactly Arezzo. And the point was, I don't know if you can see very well. We can just have less light, artificial light. It's possible, or it isn't, maybe. Anyway, the point was set at 25 square meter it's like a private room, no? We reopen an old door that you can see basically here with a new portal, and the existing situation was like a discover, because we get inside, actually the clients get inside this quite high room, and he said, okay, I want to make something special in this room. And the existing situation was vaulted ceiling and really a mess inside. Our project focused in this perimeter, customized furniture in order to show the products, and this central squared form totem, we can say. So the point was make something different, of course, but you know, architecture is not about originality, in our opinion, especially. It's about a story, and it's about how you can fill the space. As you know, in nowadays, we are maybe come from the regulation and actual real needs, but we are super exposed by overlits, we can say, especially in the retail space, okay? So we have even too much light, as everything, it has not to be everything clear. So the aim was turn the rest of the retail atmosphere in this dark, more intimate and maybe warm space. You just pass over this portal and get inside this little room. Actually, it was a fight with the client, because client said, okay, our clients cannot see anything, okay? But basically the point was you have basically to smell it, because you are in a perfumery. So you have not to see anything, actually. So focus on the smell. But of course, this light system, which is a planar background diffuse system, it's the aim of the project, it's part of the furniture. And once again, our approach, because our age, of course, but because it's about architecture as well, in any age, I think. I mean, in order to achieve this light situation, I remember it was maybe the 12th August, and Francesco was in charge in order to check this retail refurbishment before an important data. So we had a deadline, and he said, no, it doesn't work, because everything was planned, but if you have less than this number that you cannot see of LED point element, you can see each single point. So the effect is not actually a diffuse background, but it's quite diffuse background, and you can distinguish, you should not distinguish these points. So we rebuild or maybe adjust the existing situation. And this kind of decision you could make only on site sometimes, because of architecture is not related only with the project. Of course, it has to be, but sometimes it's an empirical thing, okay? So you should learn it on field. At the end, the client said, okay, I don't care, I want additional light, just in case. And you can see, no, over the furniture, this is a bottom-up photos, it's a couple of photos. But actually, I hope that they keep this extra light switched off, because client always is right, you know. But we can read also in this slide the relation between this existing vaults system and our orthogonal new furniture, customized furniture. Well, the next one, it's scale M. Actually, it's private house. And it is a refurbishment. It's as well in Arezzo located. Well, once again, which was the starting point? The starting point was received from clients, no, the needs, the wishes. And for us, this starting point was actually quite a crisis, because they bought this new, pretty new, brand new detached house in the first countryside of Arezzo. And they said, okay, I like it because it's a kind of new house that can recall me the ancient, the historical Tuscan houses, but it isn't, and I would like a Tuscan style house. Okay. So, in our mind, I was thinking, what the hell is the Tuscan style house? I really don't know. So I really don't know what you want. Actually, we know, because it's a kind of arrangement of some features, some tools, some atmospheres that are typical, very typical and common detached historical countryside house have, which are, you know, the stones, facade stones, pitched roof, existing timber beams, and big vaulted space sometimes, and this kind of raw plaster. But we had not anything of this feature. So the point was, okay, you have to say yes to the client. I don't know, maybe you can say no, but we are still in the position that we have to say yes always. So yes, we can do it. The point was basically take care about the garden and try to find a way to refurbish this house, and actually we cannot demolish it because it was new. So the aim was, you know, one of the big points of architecture of the last century, but I think nowadays as well, it's how can we choose where is the good balance between the modern truth and the postmodern memory, using not only the truth for doing a project. So we can say, in order to answer this big question, that we can, our form are not following functions, but maybe fictions. So you have to tell a history, an history. So we had this system of false ceiling, which are not basically the original one, like in the historical examples, but from the beginning, so the entrance, we started work with this false ceiling, hiding, of course, plants and other things like lighting, but it was like a form-shaping way, form-shaping tool. And we started to work with this in the main hallway at the ground floor that you can see here, and all this atmosphere that you should bring into the new house coming from the historical examples. In our opinion, the answer was maybe use this modern approach to flooring, for example, using the pigment of the ancient bricks. Or, I don't know, use, once again, this lime plaster, including in this wall, which are not made by the stones that you had in the fields, you know, before the construction, but you can hide somehow wardrobe in here, okay? It's a push and pull wardrobe. And if you turn here, you can say a fireplace. So all that, basically almost all that you can see, it's a customized furniture, okay? Which is totally different of the historical approach. Also this full ceiling, it has nothing in common with the old one. We push over the project till this detail, the kitchen details. I want to pass over that. And this is a sort of axonometric of the block of the staircase, because staircase it's one of the elements in which, okay, you can work on the staircase and you can do something good on the staircase, but this was pretty new, once again, staircase. So our aim was how we can make it good, because we cannot make a lot of changes. So the answer was we can just clad it and work with this dark mirror, with this brass cladding system, hiding doors, which actually let the enter to this service toilet with this water basin that we design as well. So we passing and going upstairs to the ninth floor, we worked with materiality without a great impact with architecture, because I remember when we were students. In the end, you know, now maybe, I don't know, some of you are designing master plan, okay? And, you know, the first work that you will do after, if you work by yourself, maybe it's a bathroom, okay? So you have to change your mind sometimes and try to get what I can do with a bathroom. I just, you know, cook a render about 1,000 meters, 10, I don't know how many big was. So you have to come back to the reality and try to do something good with the existing situation. Once again, this storytelling of the hallway, this is the hallway of the first floor, and going ahead, there is the master bedroom, and you can see it's basically the materiality of the past. We keep at it, but the doors are not the same, because doors, like the wardrobe, are made by plaster as well. And of course, this vault, it's once again is not true. Then, and I will finish, the wardrobe, the master bedroom was made by unified with the wardrobe, and the existing windows, which are new. So it's quite unbelievable to think about new windows like that, in my opinion, of course, but it maybe come from this kind of Tuscan style. So the work was how we can do with these windows. We reframed it, and we have the 3 windows in this space, and it's a sort of space in order to stay, and maybe you can just dress and undress, read a book, or maybe just have a rest. Okay, the last one, it's our first public realization. It is a school. The scale L, it's a public. It's not so big because it's 700 square meter, and come from an emergency, because following up some earth broken, you know, Italy, it's seismic territory. Some earthquake survey. The original school, I mean, part of the original school was unable. So we won this sort of competition, and the the first challenge, the biggest one, was build the school with 900 euro per square meters, okay? So, I will introduce very fast the plan. This is the main entrance. Here we have a connection with the existing part, a common space, 2 blocks of services, basically a laboratory, common laboratory. It's a lab that you can use for multi-purpose lab, and a couple of main rooms for students. At the first floor followed very same rules with three normal, I think, room. So the project was made by this very, very clear and simple way, and you can see that the language of this school is quite similar of a school, I mean, of an house language, because the concept was we have to keep it, we have to do it with very few money. So we have to work with some geometry, okay, that cannot be destroyed in the future. I mean, when you have to build something that maybe it's too expensive and you have to cut something. Because this project was across not only the pandemic, but even across the, the spreading up of the prices in architecture. So architecture, basically, it's very complex work, not only because we maybe made too many thoughts on that, but because it depends of a lot of things, economics, the words in general, politics, and so on. So our goal was, okay, let's design something that it's easy and nobody can transform it. So basically you have windows, basically you have plaster, and you have maybe this kind of exterior balcony. And the result was that we, with some difficulties, finished the school within the price. It's not a revolution, of course. It's maybe an evolution. I mean, when we have seen the house that is nearby the school, that house is not important, in our opinion, for anything. I mean, it's not the Grossling context, and even maybe context that I will show you in the next drawings. I think it's not so important, the history and the design as well, but our aim was, let's keep that language and just transform it a bit. So the balance between the void and the walls, and also the colors, because the colors are not so amazing. Our idea was not to keep a new word in this field. It was like, okay, maybe let's do just an evolution. We wanna not disappear among the houses, but dialogue with them. So the interior as well, it's made by very, very few things. And the aim is the same. We can keep the color as outside, bringing them inside. We have very simple finishes. And you can see here, it's just casuality, because the director of the school had in her office this portrait of a former president. It's Sandro Pertini. And sometimes, and now is exactly at the entrance of the school. And you can realize how this kind of casual detail can dialogue apparently with with the new finishes. And so this is something important. Keep in your mind that if you want maybe project something very simple, actually you are giving to the next users and the next inhabitants something that they will change suddenly with a micro thing, with a design thing, with a picture, with whatever you want, because it's simple. It's not nothing special happening inside. I mean, the decorative, ornamental thing, materiality, and so on. So keep in mind that people will live there, of course, are free to do whatever they want, but they can change strongly with very few things the architecture. So maybe sometimes you should control it. Now this is the little double-8 of the staircase that you can see the windows that we have seen before in the exterior photos, and this is once again the common space in the first floor, which recover once again the color of the exterior plaster. So, drawings, it's actually literally the traduction of disegni, but actually I'm showing 3 projects, with different scale, once again. Disegni means, for us, the biggest part of our work, because we started with anything, no? When you open a practice, you are not a restaurant that someone just get in because it's on the street. Nobody will knock to your door, and we started with competition, and we never hand doing competition. We actually did nowadays maybe 82 competition in 7 years. So it should mean 10 competition each year. It should mean 1 competition each month. It should mean that you are in constantly deadline, you know? So you should manage this deadline mood in I don't know which way, but it's something that, of course, will stress. It's a big stress, but it's one of the most important and beautiful things you can do, public competition, because you are working for the community, and you are doing, you are choosing that, usually, and you are doing something in which you believe. So, no, a lot of money come from competition, but maybe are important for your idea, no? In order to believe that you are doing something for the others. Assonanza is the first of these. It's a little scale. It's basically reconstruction partially reconstruction of Stazione Zoologica Anton Dorn in Naples, which is research center of biology and marine biology. It's nearby the Naples Gulfs. And here we used to bring very, very few references because we want to focus on few things. And this come from, once again, casuality, because I don't know why someone of us had this engraving book of subterranean underground Naples, which is big stuff. If some of you ever been in Naples, there is a huge story of underground Naples. And this atmosphere has nothing in common with exactly the site, but the site was located in Riva di Chiaia, which is basically in front of the sea, and this is an engraving from the, I don't know, two centuries ago, exactly. I cannot remember it. Anyway, the aim was that nearby here, maybe a little bit on the left, there was this building, which is the Stazione Geologica, all this building. So this is the existing situation. Our idea was, okay, let's once again, now you can see the multiplicity, no? The richness of this dialogue made by proportion, but made as well by different elements. So as you, I don't know if you can find the project, but anyway, our project was located exactly only in this part, okay? So the point was, let's do something in a contemporary way that you can see maybe only if I pin it. And you should see not the project, because in contemporary, sometimes it's very often that the architect won't show, oh, look at me, I'm amazing, no? Yes, sometimes. But anyway, actually, the powerful of this picture and the silhouette, the skyline of Naples, it's the whole pattern. So getting inside, I'm showing you only the ground floor. You can see that actually we worked because the program that we have to collocate is made by basically research spaces like library, offices, laboratory, and an aquarium. So we have aquarium tanks in the ground floor because they are heavy and because it's the public floor. So it's connected, we have to solve this gap, these different courts. All the building is surrounded by a public garden, it's called Villa Comunale. So it's actually a totally public floor. So we worked in memory of Napoli Sotterranea, underground Naples engraving, and also the program, so the aquarium tanks that we have to locate. We worked for subtraction, okay? Michelangelo said, in order to use the Michelangelo words, per via di levare. So we think that this wall, this space, like a full, because it was full. It was partially not, we had to keep only the ground floor because there was some problem with roofing, and all this part was made in a recent period. So basically what we did is just carve and dig some spaces in order to host the tanks. And these underground references make us easy life in order to link it to the underground water life, okay? So underground Naples, underground water, and this is the aquarium. If you go up, this is the front once again. So the front has 2, maybe 3 layers in order to be read. There is, of course, this volume, which is an insert. It's something that you can just understand. It's not made with the rest, but it's a sort of new object. There is the first structural point, and we have structural vaults inside. And then we have some windows, you can see here and here, only where we need. So it's not about glaze everything, it's about glaze only where we need to glaze. And this is how it appears from outside, from Villa Comunale. And in the ground floor, as I told you, is located the aquarium. In the first, second, and third floor, in the first floor there is there are the labs, and the upper floor are for works, I mean offices and library. As you can see, this triple eight is basically speaking to and watching the sea, and as well as this relation with the upper floor. And you can see this tripartition of the space. And going up, of course, with some connection to the existing building, you will reach some more quiet place, even public, because this is not totally public, of course. Well, I'm going too long, maybe, because I have a couple of projects left. Anyway, I'm trying to go fast. Coulisses is another project. You can see these Marcel Duchamp references about movement and about statics. You know, so our aim was to understand how rebuild a new theater in Chiari, which is nearby Brescia, in the northern part of Italy, following this aim of something that is at the same time a mechanism, because theaters are something that you know in contemporary way, but not only in contemporary way, is architecture that should maybe even not so fast, but change. And at the same time, it's an institution that in the historical city center of Chiari, which is a not big city, has to dialogue with the downtown buildings and the situation. So you can see our intervention. It's quite articulated because of the lot, no? The plot that was available. And basically, we tried to carve out a square here, just in the entrance, doing all in a very rational way, except this, okay? Because this square, which is, you know, the stage, the background actually of the stage, let open this little entrance, not so much, not that much, but enough in order to transform the entrance that you cannot see here in a proper entrance. So basically we can read this foyer with a secondary concert hall and the main concert hall with the stage, and here on the right there is a service access with the elevator and the staircase. What happened actually is that we worked mainly with the main concert hall and with some points, very few points, and one of the project solution in order to keep everything what the municipality asked was to find a place for this secondary room behind the main concert hall. And this is very massive situation that actually it's so maybe apparently so far from the Duchamp reference, but the point is build fixed structure that has to dialogue with the existing situation and at the moment be flexible, no? So this kind of relation with this different volume, for example, this is the emergency staircase, okay, nothing special, but each volume has a sort of identity that makes sense only if you read the volumes all together. So this is once again the foyer. It's a little theater, nothing special, but the flexibility of this space, no, that you can arrange some exhibition and in the meantime maybe use the secondary hall or have a main concert hall event. And this once again is the secondary hall and the main hall in the end. Okay, the last project I will show you is Cassero. It's located in Trani. It's the southern part of Italy, in Puglia. And I don't know if you know Trani. Trani is quite important place, especially in Middle Age, because exactly from Trani Cathedral, it was one of the main dock departure for crusades. And Trani Cathedral, so there is a strong relationship with the sea, once again, and a strong relationship with I can say, live, no? With the departures. Well, Trani Cathedral, among other things, it's famous in the history of architecture because I have not the slide about it, but it's made by a void at the bottom, you know? So you have an arch at the bottom of the Trani Cathedral, and that is all the mass, it's above. This was, of course, one of our references, even too literally. And another one was this Cassero. Cassero in Italian means like built perimeter, and as well as to speak the naval language, because Cassero is the space built in order to stay in for this departure, no, inside the ship. What he had, the existing situation was, first of all, nearby, actually inside the downtown. This is the main entrance. Here we have a big square with the castle in front of, and here we have the sea, and over there we have the cathedral that I talked about. The point was match the existing palace, which is this, with the new extension, which is this, and this extension that should become the new entrance of the court office. So it's apparently, it seems a joke that, you know, one of the starting point of crusades, now we are working with the judge court offices, no? We have to work with this big memory of the history. Anyway, once again, because it's Italy, but we have an archaeological site inside, actually, to preserve. So the point was how we can manage all these circulation problems and give an exhibition space and a public cafe and a route in order to see the archaeological, public route, in order to see the archaeological rest, and also underline the court office entrance, which is this. Basically, what we did was start with a cassero, with a perimetral thing. And sometimes you have to be not too dramatic, because architects usually are dramatic, no? So serious. Anyway, of course, you have to, but in this case, the existing palace, you can see that the shape of the existing palace is exactly the same of our new shape, but rotated. I mean, mirrored and rotated. So this was the point, like the Trani Cathedral, in order to, okay, keep this point that statically is the more problematic point. It's a square point and it's a bottom point. So cut off some space in order to bring people inside to sign the entrance, but not that much. And the same reasons, the same tale, we can do it for the windows. So actually, we are working with a new building, and the window system, it's totally recalling the castle. But exactly in front of this building, there is a castle, and the proportion of this empty are quite the same. Quite the same, except these big windows. So now we are declaring, okay, we have a big point of view, a quite of lantern, in order to emphasize this is contemporary way, but we are still speaking to the castle, and maybe with the proportion and the relation between void and full windows that we have nearby us. So the last things that we did, because it's one important point of the project, is to keep the rest without a cover, because these rests are not so important, but we had to emphasize and preserve it. So this kind of courtyard, it's a public courtyard in which inside the curtain is totally glazed, because here you have contemporary courts offices, okay? The result was this kind of merging situation with the existing buildings. Getting inside the courtyard, you can see on the left this exhibition space and the uffici giudiziari exactly ahead. This is another angle, and here once again you can see that the facade is totally different inside, because we had not that so many problems in order to change it in the inner part. One of the last problems that we had designing these court offices was the representativity, the monumentality. What is basically this institution today? Because you have to communicate this importance, but you have at the same time to renew the identity of this kind of institution. Even if you have this big existing heavy, I want to say, existing situation. So we worked with, once again, with furniture, keeping the main courts hall in the basement, in the ground floor, I mean, which are not the, we have a lot of circulation problem, but the project was trying to push the courts in these kind of rooms, working basically only with the furniture. And at the end, I'm showing these new offices that you have seen before from the courtyard, which are the new part, the new aim, the new identity of this space, extended spaces. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. Thank you. I give the floor to Paola that introduced the Grossling project. Thank you.
Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. I try to wake up you from the long speech of Antonio, and maybe I can tell a joke or something like that, I don't know. But let's begin, because I follow the Grossling City Bath project from the beginning, and it was March 2020, and as you know, in Italia, there is the first lockdown, the hard one, and maybe also for this reason, and also because obviously we have all the works that is on standby and so on, to be clear, and we are searching for something that can engage us and involving us from a deep way. And I don't know, maybe it's a banal link, and I don't know also how to say it, but maybe the link is that we are searching for a foreign competition, maybe just because we are, each of us are in our rooms and in our houses. And we talk about some foreign competition, and maybe we start to talk about Slovakia, because my sister-in-law come from Bratislava, so this is the main link between us and you. And but we found Grossling, and we decide immediately, in few seconds, to participate to the competition. Well, the competition in Grossling not only looked very interesting to us, but also very, very well organized, starting from the jury, from the material that was available, and also ending with the graphic and so on. And for that reason, we want to say thank you to the city of Bratislava, and in particular to the MIB, that is the MIB, sorry, the Metropolitan Institute of Bratislava, that is the main organizer of this competition. Well, looking Bratislava from the top, as you know, obviously, I'm talking with a Slovak student of architecture. And we can see the typical European structure. So the castle, the historic city center, and the river, the boundary. And in the middle, yeah. And approaching the project area, that is more or less this part, okay. We feel that these relationships between the river is even more evident, and the Danube, the river, mark a very, very strong boundary, and Grossling complex is a part of this block, and ended with this part of the facade that have a real connection with the Danube. So from the inside, you can see the Danube. Well, these old photos clearly show the atmosphere and also the urban importance of the building. Here you can see the corner between Medina and Kúpeľov Street, but here you can also see the interior. This is the main swimming pool, and here you can see how the building communicates in a very, very simple way his prestige. So you see the stucco walls that is alternating to the skylight that let in the light from above in each rooms, also in the sitting pool area. But we understand that Grossling is not about only architecture. For us, it's clear that how can I say, the value of architecture can be seen when it becomes part of the culture and part of a feeling of a culture. And we talk with many people in these last years, even yesterday at the exhibition, and many of them have said to us that the memory of going in the main swimming pool, learn to swim, have a nice day with the friends, with the family and so on, is still alive and is still very, very vivid nowadays. And so we realize day by day that Grossling is not only architecture, but is a very unique place within the city. So this sensitivity is transformed from a personal memory to artistic memory, even. This is a recent work by Maria Svarbova, and show that Grossling can be also a strong figurative interpretation in a contemporary way. Finally, our days. As already mentioned, among the many documents that MIB made available for the competition was also this video tour that helped us a lot, because we are in Italy and we cannot have a survey, a real survey. So you can understand the state of neglect, obviously, but however, also from our point of view, but I think that you agree with me, the potential of the place that remains very, very strong and very vivid. So let's approach the project, Opalescenza. Starting from what is our starting point. Because I can't tell you something more than our experience. So we believe that at the beginning of the project phase is very good to understand the project site. And we are a foreign architect, and in this stage we found the painting, this painting, that is a painting by Konstantin Bauer, and represent the town of Košice, that in spring is very, very similar to the image that I showed you before from Google, from the top. And this episode of greenery and the alternative between the greenery and the build suggests us to replicate it in the project. So basically, a kind of built nature with the white walls and all the stucco walls like background. Another key element for us was, of course, the concept of opalescence. And literally is the property of some bodies that have a milky and iridescent aspect. And for us, this peculiar characteristic of glass surface goes well with the large amounts of the vapor that characterize all the bath. And is also a concept that could also help us with the necessary privacy that we have to keep between the parts of the project. You can see here in this axonometric view what we have proposed, basically. So the complex is improved by using these 3 greenhouses, that is more or less 1, 2, and 3, and is made by glass and steel. And it can allow to contrast the, we like to define it, the heavy elegance of Grossling with the lightness and transparency of the new structure and the new insert. So the project develops from the recovery, the historic corner entrance, And you see it in this postcard. I don't remember exactly the year, but the main building remains essentially unchanged. We propose only a restoration of the facade and the windows. But referring to our closet culture, obviously the Italian one, we introduce a kind of street bench that you see in the bottom here. And in Italian is panca di via. That means literally street bench. In Firenze, there are very common elements, and all the most important Renaissance palace have this type of seats. I talk about Palazzo Strozzi, Palazzo Rucellai, Palazzo Medici Riccardi, and others. And this is why noble families use this type of seat to have the news of the city and to give all the people a place to sit and obviously underline their importance, their cultural importance. And now we try to translate it, this device within the project, with an element that can host people from the cafe, so expanded the space that is inside the ground floor for the cafe, exterior to the park. But at the same time, this element hides a ramp that is behind this wall that can provide a soft access to the main floor, so all the disabled people, supplies, a stroller, and so on. So it became useful. Well, with this image, I want to highlight the contrast between the existing and the new. This is the only portion that we see when you are walking on Kúpeľov Street, and is the outdoor pool, the new outdoor pool. And here you can see that the facade is modeled in continuity with the detail, all these detail features. Maybe I can use the right one. All the detail features that existing in the facade of Grossling continues and find a dialogue between the existing and the new. Well, let's get inside the building. I try to be quickly and not like Antonio did. Okay, I promise. So, the spatial distribution of the various areas begin from this point. This is the main historical center point, entrance point, and from here the path is divided into two parts. On the left you have all the cafe and all the facilities, obviously, and so the starting point for the library. But at the in the other hand, on the right, becomes all these spaces for the bath, divided into facilities, changing rooms, so on, and obviously the pools. This is the new pools, but in an existing situation. I explain later. This is the existing one, the sitting pool. This is the swimming pool, the main, and this is the new. Obviously, I show you the competition stage. Now is a little bit change. It is already ongoing. And all the complex ended with this part, that is the sauna part that facing through the Danube. And at the end of the library at the ground floor, you can see the first greenhouses, the first of the 3 greenhouses, and now is dedicated to events and reading rooms and daily use. The other 2 greenhouses, one is cold, one is hot and the other is cold, integrate all the other spaces to have rest and to feel inside the bath. Well, I try to explain our 3 points from which we started the competition, the project. Well, the proposal, in general, intend to translate what I already explained to you in practice. I don't know if we reach the goal. We know only when we take a bath together in the pools. But till this time, the restoration of the original arches one of our first milestone. And for us, the demolition of the covering between the arches guarantees, in one hand, the visual permeability, like here, but also physically permeability. Another key element, the second, for us was the inclusion of greenery, as I told you. This is possible thanks to the 3 greenhouses that allowed the natural light can reach the center of the complex. And these new structures are the heart of our new proposal, and I think that represent the way in which we would like to Grossling will be in the future. Last principle, okay, up here. Last principle, we have tried also to deal with the problem of introspection by using different type of glass, obviously for the opalations. Because some rooms have to use transparent glass, because we have to establish a direct connection, but others not, because we have different function, different users, and so these opalations glass can allow the privacy that we need. And also, from our point of view, recalling all the steamy condition of the bath, the vapor. Now I show you some image of the competition phase. And here you can see the buffer zone that is, I don't know if okay, this is this part. This is you reach this buffer zone through the changing room, the facility, and then you are here, and the same path is on the first floor. So you can, passing through all the changing and so on, you can reach the ground floor with this double high room. And for us, the central hall with artificial light can allow the user to be guided by the natural light that is the main characteristic of other main pools, main rooms, and so on. So this is one, this is the other, and this is the third. Well, the other image is from the new, from the existing swimming pool, and you can see here the connection between the interior space and the exterior. So the visual and the physically connection that I told you a while ago. This is an image from the sitting pool, the main characteristic pool for us, because it's a very, very characteristic of Grossling. And you can see how the space of the sitting pool relates to the outdoor spaces. That is one of the new greenhouses, and how it establishes a very, very strong dialogue with the exterior space. Our aim here is to recreate a space that could dialogue with the existing value of Grossling. At the same time, uncover the existing loggia that now are free from other construction and other further construction. Yeah. This is one of the last image. So from the new outdoor pool, the one that faces the Kúpeľov street, you can perceive the strong relation with the historical boiler that is now host the sauna reception and also the gastro for Grossling. The last one. This image is from a library part, and we propose to demolish the intermediate floor slab that now is existing. And in that way, we try to give to the open shells spaces take breath and brightness, thanks also to the existing skylight that is on the south part. So this is a final suggestion, come from the existing material, because sampling the historical Grossling tiles is a main point for us, and gave us one of the characteristic elements for our project that we are also ongoing the study. And but I also would like to tell you what happens when you win a competition. And it begins a detailed analysis of all the other spaces that you didn't study in the competition phase, obviously, but not for that they are less important. And I would like to close this lecture saying that our goal as an architects is to give to the spaces some architectural quality, such as each part can be perceived an expression of a whole. Thank you. Thank you. Volete dire qualcosa? Okay, I don't know what happened now.
Thank you, Antonio. It was great. Now maybe it's time for your questions, if you have some. I hope that you have some. Viděla jsem hore ruku z nejhrotu. Dobre, pošle mikrofon. Albo...